Hi everyone, hope you've had a good week so far. Let's show you what ours has been like in today's episode of News Generation. Over 20,000 children are estimated to be child slaves in Ghana. Most of them can be found fishing on the Volta Lake. Government gains 51 million cedis as Supreme Court orders businessman Alfred Woyome to return judgment debt paid to him in 2009. And it's International Friendship Day. We have a discussion with some of you on what you think about friendship. These stories and many more coming up in today's episode of News Generation. My name is Ifwa Akwai Harrison. Please stay with us. News Generation, supported by
Cowbell with Vitarid.
We're on social media. We're on facebook.com/newsgenerationgh. Also find us on Twitter @newsgengh. And remember that the views expressed on News Generation by young people are their own views and does not necessarily reflect the views of News Generation or News Generation staff. Now, every year, thousands of children in Ghana are sent to work on the Lake Volta to live a life of modern slavery and fishing. Though there's little information on the situation, it is believed more than 20,000 children work as child slaves. Joy News' Justice Bedu visited the Volta Lake and filed this report.
Lake Volta, the world's largest man-made lake, does not only provide electricity for Ghana, but also put food on the tables of many families who fish in it. But this lake, with all its rich history, is also a dungeon of modern-day slavery for thousands of children.
When we take the child, all the fishermen go and take the child to Toko for fishing. We use them for fishing because we, the others, we can go through under the water when the net is hooked there. So we send the child to go there to remove the net for us. But when they are going and then they don't remove the net, we force them to go. And then sometimes some has not come back again.
12-year-old Kofi Gilanyo was once a slave here. He's now free, but only because he broke his spine. He had a broken spine when he slipped in a canoe and knocked the seat with his chest. He comes from Adafiano, a village some 200 kilometers away from Pando.
My grandmother sold us, me and 4 brothers. She said if we don't go and work to take care of her, she would kill us when she dies.
Adafiano, a community barely 30 minutes away from Ghana's border with Togo. It's a coastal community and people here are mainly small-scale fishermen. The landscape here is very sandy. That does not support any form of farming at all. That means that people here depend mainly on the sea. Now, fishing itself is a seasonal activity, and barely any form of economic activity go on in the minor fishing season. It is in poor and vulnerable communities like this one that parents, in their desperate need to survive, sell off children to work in dangerous areas like the Volta Lake. I promised him I would look for his grandmother and tell him about his current situation. He had doubts about me finding her, but still had a message for the grandmother.
My name is Gilanyo. I come from Blekusu. I want to tell my grandmother that we are not happy the way you abandoned us to the mercy of hunger. Don't you care if we died of hunger? The way you left us is bad. That is why we won't also take care of you when we get money. Even though you took care of us till we grew up, and it will be a sin if we don't take care of you when we get money, we are also not happy the way you left us. What you did was very bad and painful.
This is Kojo. He's also 12 years old and one of the thousands of boys still on this lake working as child slaves. Children like Kojo in this small island called Wudidiada, which means when you finish eating, sleep, in Ghana's eastern region, work for 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are given one small meal every day. But that meal is not even guaranteed. Sometimes they are denied food as a form of punishment.
What your
chiska saying?
And the minimum to some mammy.
Hina catch you say what you chiska.
My sister.
Catch you dabbing.
I'll catch them Sunday. Town not them by no, they just Sunday no number.
No catch you saying.
I'll catch them so or try me cheese candy me, you man me, I meant to me boss na me. Mammy and family, mammy rush, say, I went to me cheese candy, more to me cheese candy, you man me, meant to me boss na me.
Ghana passed an anti-human trafficking law in 1995, but very little has been done in enforcement. Justice Bedu, Joy News, Adafiani.
Justice Bedu's report on modern slavery in Ghana. Tell us what you think on facebook.com/newsgenerationgh. Now, Ghana is 51 million cedis richer. The Supreme Court has ordered businessman Alfred Agbeshi Woyome to repay the sum to government. The 51 million cedis was paid to Alfred Woyome as judgment debt in 2009.
I know Woyome to be the guy who took the government 51 billion and 40 pesos Ghana cedis with corrupt means.
Woyome claimed he had a contract with the previous government and they had to pay him some amount of money, which is 51 million Ghana cedis. And he managed to somehow, let's say, trick the government into paying him that amount of money.
It has been a long battle, but the last court of appeal in Ghana has given its verdict. 51 million Ghana cedis was paid to Alfred Agbeshi Woyome in 2009. The amount was given to him because of an alleged cancelled contract he had with the government. Woyome claims to have done some work for government before the CAN 2008 games that were held in the country. But the Supreme Court panel headed by Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood held that Woyome got the money out of an invalid contract. This follows a review brought before the court by former Attorney General and anti-corruption campaigner Martin Amidu. It was the first case that sparked public anger over judgment debts in the country.
What Mr. Woyome did is not, in quote, isn't right, because as a person, you shouldn't trick the government and use all sorts of other forms to gain the money like in a dishonest way.
I think that's the perfect decision the Supreme Court has ever made. This one is supposed to pay it and even pay it with interest, because I can't take the government's money without being like having a contract with the government, taking the money away and using it for unnecessary things.
The court also said the contract was unconstitutional because it had not been approved by Parliament and that it was illegal for former Attorney General Betty Molde-Dusu to have ordered for the payments.
If he doesn't pay, he will be squeezed to pay the money, because I don't think the court and the police and other security services will allow him go scot-free once that he has been pronounced to pay the money.
If Alfred Woyome doesn't pay the money, he and his family will spend eternity in the Nsawam prison.
Alfred Woyome's lawyers say they will look for other options available to their client soon. Now, Accra still struggles with cholera and State School for the Deaf renamed. Let's check out some other stories which made headlines on the local news front.
The La General Hospital in Accra has been forced to convert its outpatient department into a cholera unit as high number of cases of the illness overwhelms the hospital. Health officials at the hospital are turning away patients due to lack of space to attend to more than 170 cases of cholera. 5 people have so far died from the disease at the hospital in 1 week. The administrator of the hospital, Philip Cotto, has advised the public to observe personal hygiene practices by washing their hands frequently and abstain from eating cold foods. The State School for the Deaf, located at Ajay Kojo near Tema, has been renamed. The school's name was changed to Dr. Tete Oklu School for the Deaf in honor of its founder. The school, which was established in 1966 by Dr. Oklu, is one of the special public schools in the country to educate students with hearing impairment. Dr. Oklu lost his hearing in 1952 when he contracted cerebrospinal meningitis. Despite his hearing challenge, Dr. Oklu continued his education and became the first hearing impaired person in Africa to complete his bachelor degree program in 1964. The Supreme Court has granted an injunction that will prevent the Electoral Commission from using National Health Insurance cards as identification for the upcoming voter registration exercise. The court held that existing voter registration cards, other than the biometric ones, can be used for the exercise. The court said reasons for the ruling will be given after the Supreme Court resumes from vacation on October 17.
And Ghana isn't just worried about cholera. The Ghana Medical Association is very concerned about the country's preparedness to fight the Ebola virus if it breaks out. Now, the deadly virus has killed over 600 people in Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and recently Nigeria. So we went out to ask young people what they think about this. Here's what's up.
No, I don't think so, because even of late, the doctors are going on strike. So how much more when that disease comes to Ghana, which people are we going to get to cure the diseases in the country? I don't think Ghana is even ready to cure those diseases in the country.
Ghana is absolutely not ready for that disease, so I encourage everyone to prevent him or herself from that disease, because it's a pathogenic disease that cannot be cured.
Yeah, according to the health ministry, they said they are not prepared. But I think that with some determination and effort, we'll be able to manage the disease in Ghana by sending people to the borders and the airports to check those with the viruses.
No, I don't. But I think that now Ghana has been given a heads up they should start preparing, so that by the time it reaches here, they'll be able to control it.
The doctors have said they are not prepared. So to me, we can also prevent it by ensuring that our borders have tools and equipment to scan and check people who are infected with that virus so that they can't get here.
Ghana is not prepared to contain it because I heard some time ago that the doctors were embarking on a strike, so they will not be able to treat it, because I don't think Ghana will be able to contain the disease because it can reduce the population of the nation.
Well, let's have some hope for our medical personnel. Your views on what's up. Now, there's no known cure for Ebola just as yet, but here are some quick tips on the virus. some quick tips for you on the Ebola virus. Well, time to take a quick break. When we come back, we talk about Friendship Day.
When your kids need it all, there's only one drink that's got it. Cowbell Chocomalt. It's got the delicious taste of chocolate, the nourishment of malt, the all-round goodness of milk, and sugar for energy, all in one sachet. All I add is water, hot or cold. Now, that's real value. And that's real teamwork. Cowbell Chocomalt, 4-in-1 value with a great new taste.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Generation. Have you liked our Facebook page yet? It's News Generation GH. Also find us on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Now, July 30th is International Friendship Day. To mark the day, the United Nations encourages governments, organizations, and community groups to hold events, activities, and initiatives that promote solidarity, mutual understanding, and reconciliation. So, is such a day important? Adelaide had a discussion with some young people to find out.
Every July 30 is International Friendship Day. It is a United Nations Day that promotes the role friendship plays in promoting many cultures. Today, I'm joined by pupils of the St. Catherine Preparatory School, and we are going to discuss about this role. First, we want to know, when we say a friend, who is a friend?
A friend is someone who you trust in or believe in.
A friend is a person who you know, but he's not part of your family.
A friend is a person that you can look up to for something that you need.
How do you choose your friends?
Like when I'm in need of something, the person gives to me. And when I need something, the person gives. So the person, I will take the person as my friend. So we become the person and I will become friends.
I choose a friend by detecting the behavior, what he likes, what he doesn't like. That's how I choose my friend.
I choose a friend by the way they behave towards me. Like if the person is friendly towards me, I also do the same to the person and we become friends that way.
Do you have friends from different cultural backgrounds or different tribes?
No.
So how many friends do you have?
Only one.
Okay. And what tribe is he or she?
He's an Akan.
I have 4 friends. Muslim, Agan, Ashanti. I can't mention all. This is what I can say.
I don't have a specific number of friends. They are just many like that.
So how does friendship promote culture?
The behavior and by the way they talk and their food they eat.
Friendship promotes culture by how they behave, what they do during some festivals, what they do, and the taboos.
Friendship promotes culture by mixing our cultures together. For example, if I have an Hausa friend, the person can introduce me to some new foods like Toza Fi, and we can mix our culture like that.
What do you think about this day? Is it really important that we set a day aside to celebrate friendship?
I think we should celebrate a day of our friendship, because without friends, you may stumble, because we all need friends. Friends help us when we stumble. They give us advice. They help us in time of need.
It is important for us to have a Friends Day because we need friends, otherwise we'll be lonely and alone.
Friends are important in our lives. We need friends so that we become cheerful.
Do you have any advice for people who discriminate between tribes?
My advice is that they should take friends who are good, positive peers, so that they'll give them advice and good attitude, so that they become this God-fearing.
My advice is that we should take friends, because friends can help us when we are in trouble. They can give us advice how to come out of it.
We should all be friends because we are all one people. We should all mingle together and do things together.
So you've heard from our friends from St. Catherine. They say it is important for us to make friends. You can also join us on the discussion on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/NewsGenerationGH.
And Adelaide takes us to Akosombo in the eastern region to one of Ghana's premier textile manufacturing companies. The Akosombo Textiles Limited is where local textiles are produced on a large scale.
Is Ghana's premier textile company, Akosombo Textiles Limited. Today, it is my landmark of the week. Let's go and find out more. Akosombo Textile is a household name in Ghana in terms of quality and beautiful designs. The company employs about 1,250 workers and was established in 1967. The company has 3 departments: the spinning, weaving, and the printing and dyeing. This is the spinning department where blowing and separation takes place. It is where a machine called the mining bell opener is used to produce yarn. The weaving department is where the yarn is turned into grey and mercerized calico, which is processed into real wax and fancy prints. This is the printing and dyeing department, where pre-treatment and seasoning takes place. Seasoning is where unwanted bleach is removed from the calico. In the fancy printing range is a double print, the black and white, which are mostly used for funerals. Fabrics produced by ATL include Treasure, ABC Watts, Inspiration, Prestige and Premium, which can be used for any occasion. Apart from its primary objective of producing high-quality fabric, corporate responsibility is important to ATL.
Let's now do some sports.
Has been kicked out from the Ghana camp at the 2014 Commonwealth Games village for gross indiscipline. Nate's accreditation for the Commonwealth Games has also been withdrawn by the Ghana Olympic Committee, GOC. A press release from the GOC indicated Nate, who is a serving officer with the British Army, showed gross disrespect to officials after he received his allowances. Nigerian gold medalist Chika Amalaha has been provisionally suspended from the Commonwealth Games for failing a drug test. The 16-year-old won weightlifting gold with a combined total of 196 kg in the women's 53 kg category. 2 prohibited drugs were found in her sample A. Amalaha will have a B sample test on Wednesday. Ghana striker Jordan Ayew has signed for French Ligue 1 side FC Lorient. The 22-year-old signed a 4-year deal with Lorient on Monday after choosing them ahead of several offers to move away from France. Ayew is looking forward to a new chapter in French Ligue 1 after his move from Olympique Marseille to rivals FC Lorient.
So what's trending? A robot hitchhiker. Doesn't that sound like something that you can only find in the movies? Well, it's a reality. This is because the robot, nicknamed Hitchbot, is a project to explore if robots can trust humans. Hitchbot will hitchhike from Nova Scotia to Vancouver in Canada, 4,000 miles apart. That's what's trending.
Hello, I am Hitchbot, a robot from Fourth Credit, Ontario. This summer I will be traveling across Canada, from coast to coast. I am hoping to make new friends, have interesting conversations, and see new places along the way. As you may have guessed, robots cannot get driver's licenses yet, so I'll be hitchhiking my entire way.
2 professors at McMaster and Ryerson University created Hitchbot, a robot programmed to hitchhike across Canada, and they have put it to the test. The bot is programmed to entertain drivers with its Wikipedia-based knowledge.
I can converse about many things. Just remember, I am a product of human imagination.
It also regularly tweets and Instagrams its adventures. It has 12,000 followers on Twitter already. The robot began its journey in Nova Scotia on 27 June, and its creators hope it will eventually end up in Victoria, British Columbia, nearly 4,000 miles away. So far, Hitchbot is reported to have been welcomed with open arms by the travelers who have encountered him. The whole point of this robot adventure is to see if robots can trust humans.
So would you give Hitchbot a ride? I don't know. Anyway, Liberia also struggles to control the spread of the Ebola virus, and the UN accuses Israel of a school attack in Gaza. That's a news round.
Over the weekend, Liberia's President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf closed most of the country's borders. The few points of entry, which are still open, will have Ebola testing centers and will implement preventive measures. The president also placed restrictions on public gatherings and ordered hotels, restaurants, and other entertainment venues to play a 5-minute video on Ebola safety. In a statement by the president, she said, "No doubt the Ebola virus is a national health problem. It attacks our way of life with serious economic and social consequences. As such, we are compelled to bring the totality of our national resolve to fight this scourge." The World Health Organization has confirmed 224 cases of Ebola in Liberia, including 127 deaths. Overall, Ebola has killed at least 660 people in West Africa. At least 24 people have died in a stampede at a beach concert in Conakry, the capital of Guinea. The victims were celebrating the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The President's office has declared a week of national mourning after what it called a tragic drama at a concert by the Guinean rap group Instinct Killers. Dozens of people were injured. The concert took place on Tuesday evening on a beach in Ratoma, a northern suburb of Conakry. Israel launched a deadly attack on a UN school housing refugees in Gaza, despite constant warnings that civilians were living there, according to the UN. UN spokesman Chris Gaines said the world stands disgraced by the attack, in which 15 were reported dead. The Israeli military said an initial inquiry suggested soldiers responded after militants had fired mortar shells from the area of the UN school. Some 1,200 Palestinians and 55 Israeli lives have been lost in the conflict. Most of the Palestinian deaths have been civilians.
So that's the kind of week it has been so far for us here at News Generation. Catch you over the weekend. Until then, have a good rest of the week. Bye.
News Generation, supported by Cowbell with Vitarid.